right, check that out. Sits nice and tucked away, super clean. Bolts in real easy. Got a storage area. Doesn't move around. Harness nice there. I will go into full detail on the installation of this. The only part that I don't go over is this floor mat. I did take this out. I set the box on it, did some measurements, and just basically eyeball cut it. Cut this here, along here, and just followed it around over there. Now let's check out the radio. Alright, so my overall impressions of the subwoofer is that it does sound pretty good, but let me tell you, in the beginning, I was not overly pleased with it until I went into the settings, and then I had to do some adjustments on here. Now, the bass of this system works pretty good, but it kind of overpowered the Bose system, and it was a little bit more bass than I liked. So what I did was I turned up the mid-range and the treble, and then I found that the treble was a little bit too high for the music that I was listening to. I turned the treble down a little bit, turned the bass up a little bit right there, and it sounds on point now in my taste. So I do not think anybody really needs the dial switch that a lot of people recommend, as well as flipping the switches on the box. Don't do that. I left it all alone, and I can just adjust my bass through here, and this gives me what I want. It works with the subwoofer box, and I'm very happy with these settings and the way that it is. Now let's get into the install. The kicker speaker box is here. So our part number, pretty basic kit. Instructions are on a code that you download on your phone, so that should be interesting. Let's get to this. This is the power wire. This goes to the positive terminal of the battery. This is going to be routed into the firewall. I'm going to cut this off right here, this zip tie, so that way we can pull this connector off, and then I'll feed this through. I got a neat way of feeding this through, so let me show you. This is just a long zip tie. I taped the ends on there. Now let's go feed it through the firewall. So we're at the battery, and back there is where we're gonna feed this through. Let me see if I can get a better angle for it. Now it's fed through the firewall. We'll get it from the inside. Here it is over here. Step one was to disconnect the battery, so we're going to go ahead and do that now that we're beyond step one. And then we'll feed it through, and that's our power. Terminal 1 is where it's said to mount. I routed my harness through here, around, down, and then I'll pull it through the firewall. And if this doesn't fit correctly, then I'll undo this and then I'll route it this direction, but I'd rather have it routed on this side of the battery so that way it's not hanging anywhere down there. Following along on the instructions, went ahead and made my cuts based off of the measurements. Made sure to cut all the way through because the connectors will be going through there. Alright, so the harness routing, white one out by the door, black one out near the middle. I do have it ran all the way back behind the seats, like they say in the instructions. I do have it under the carpet. It went down here, like this one, and then this one went down. Actually, this went down around here to here, and you can see just a smidge of it back there. So it's out of the way. You can see a little bit sticking up back there. We'll get that tighter when I pull that tight right there. Subwoofer box is in. Tighten the 18mm bolt there. That's through the stud. Connector is connected, making sure we're not squishing down below. That's good. This one is routed right under there, nice and clean. Nowhere for it to be pinched as it runs. I forgot where it runs now, but I showed that earlier. And yeah, so let's get this one secured, and then I'll move on to that harness on that side. All right, we've got the tools installed. Tighten this nice and snug, and we're made sure that we're not pinching the harness. Good to go. All right, so here is the harness run through the firewall. Got it routed down right here. So I'm gonna cut off, or I'm just gonna remove this tape. Put together that connector, connect the connector to this. We'll connect the, we'll get into these wires here. Here we are at the harness. the yellow and black as outlined in the instructions. We'll do our little ghetto tappers onto them. Then we'll connect the wires, and this will get connected to the big harness. Connect the ground. We're rolling. So here it is, all finished up. Now before I put everything on, I went ahead and tested it. We had some tool sober, good thumper, and the bass definitely works. It's definitely a big improvement over factory. So I'm going to put this all back together and go listen to some more music.